Hit me.
Hello, welcome to our first episode of Sit and Deliver. I'm your host, Jakari.
I'm Tommy.
Co-host right here.
Oh, I'm a co-host.
Yeah. But we're co-hosts
We're
together.
co-hosting together.
Yeah, together. Yeah,
exactly. I only look kind of snazzy right now because of my wife.
It's the first episode.
It's the first episode.
Gotta look presentable.
Go ahead and hate me in the comments.
So basically, this show is going to be about like just some pop cultural things that we like to talk about. And right now, since we're both film fanatics, we like to talk about the new movie It that just came out, which is a remake of the original that came out in the 1990s by Stephen King. We all know, we all love him, blah, 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 blah. All right.
Okay.
Yes.
So, we'll start off with the movie on the star system. Your thoughts?
My thoughts, I believe that it was excellent. I gave it a 5 out of 5.
All right. Okay, that was a little overdramatic. I give it 3 stars out of 5. 3 out of 5.
Okay.
Almost 2.5. Well, I just feel like a little incoherent in the plot and everything. I feel like it's a horror movie disguised as a comedy.
Yeah.
And I feel like they could have done it as a movie based off of characters from the It world.
Yeah.
And just been something completely different. Because I think the storyline's good, but I feel like the writing is just a little janky. And only because... I know, that's fine. But I feel like it was good. Like, the suspense, the build-up was good. But I feel like they didn't really deliver on, like, a very strong, coherent, like, character development. Especially since this is going to have a sequel. So I feel like if you're going to have a sequel, you should have, like, kind of, like, the characters... established a little bit better. I think their comedy is great. I thought like the kids were fantastic. I thought the acting was good. But like there's a scene, we're gonna have some spoilers in this, obviously, if we're talking about the movie.
We'll put that in there.
But if like there's a scene that I love because it was creepy. The camera, they're like watching in the garage. And that scene is so fantastic because it's creepy and it's like the machine's just doing it. But then a giant clown appears. It's there. They're freaking out. Like Bevy is screaming out the top of her lungs. They kick over the camera. They like open the garage door to let light in because apparently that scared it away. And then they're standing there, and then they have like Billy has like this amazing speech of like, let's go kill it. I'd be like in the middle of the street. Sucking on my thumb, crying. Instead,
they're freaking out. I mean, that's why they don't want to follow Bill to the house. We're like, did you just see that?
But are they? But they're not freaking out as much.
They're not.
I feel like they're in each scene. They all kind of experience something, but then they don't talk about it.
Well,
like the next day, like I'm just riding my bike.
And that's the thing because like as they show, which I think they did great with Beverly character was. When she had her little incident with the blood, the dad didn't react because he couldn't see it. So in your head, when you think about it, it's like, am I tripping? And that's what she says to the guy. She's like, I don't know if this is real. So I just want you guys to see if it's real too because I don't know what's real. Right. That's probably why they didn't discuss it until they all were like, hey, I've been seeing some stuff. Because you can't talk to your parents about it because their parents are like, what are you talking about? Like,
Right. But I feel like if I was hearing things come out of a sink drain. I'd feel more comfortable to talk to my wife or you about like, so I think I might be going a little cray cray, and that's okay. Like, tell you what I've been hearing out of the sink. I'm not gonna go grab measuring tape and like measure. I'm not gonna stay in that room.
Well,
I'm gonna go
illusions.
I'm gonna
entice them to the characters. They draw you in.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. But. Go ahead,
say,
please.
Take it back to where you're like, you feel like it was a comedy disguised as horror. I personally believe that was because this film starred children, and a lot of the times, like, I don't think I personally ever seen a horror movie strictly with young kids in it, and it's strictly horror. Like, they're just getting murdered left and right, because I feel like as audience members, people can handle that.
No, and that's
why I think what happened to Georgie in the beginning was so tragic, and why they in the original they didn't show it. They just show it like you just implied. But this one they want to show what really happened, And that's why it's so like, oh shit, because he's like a little boy and he's crawling away like hell,
right.
And he gets just dragged away.
Right.
So I don't think that as audience members we can handle like if all these kids were just brutally murdered, I think we will all leave like, what the fuck did we just watch? When it's adults or teenagers, a little older, like, oh, what do you know? We're more acceptable.
Yeah, because they brought this
exactly. But when they're like young kids like that, you're just like, that's why I think it was perfect that they had a lot of comedy in it to like ease it over.
No, the comedy was great.
Yeah.
I think that there's just certain sequences, but like speaking of that scene with Georgie, that's like the best scene with it as Pennywise. Because like when he stops talking and he has a deadpan
and
face.
He has the drool coming out his head.
Creepy.
It's creepy.
Right?
Because he's hungry.
He wants
Georgie and you know he wants
he's
Georgie.
Gonna get him. And that's like the one time where he actually scared me. Like as himself, or as
the clown, because
he's freaky. But like, I mean, that was like the only time where I was like, oh man, that was like terrifying.
Exactly.
From then on, though, the only other scene that like I really loved was the creepy librarian.
Yeah. She's in the back.
When she's in the background,
just like staring at him,
and you can kind of get this hint of like a smile.
Exactly. Yeah, she definitely was smirking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way that the camera was shot, it was kind of blurry.
So you couldn't really see her, but you could see her silhouette. But you can't see
which
her
was
face.
fantastic. I wanted more of that because that scene, because I got goosebumps just talking about that scene. Mm-hmm. Those were the sequences that like made me uneasy because that unknown is what was so good. Yeah. Anytime he was on the screen, except for with Georgie, it seemed too comical.
Really?
To me, like it seemed like I was no longer scared, which is fine because I'm a chicken shit. But
I just think that's because the film was so funny that at that point you lighten up.
Yeah.
And that was in the
and maybe that's on me for not expecting that.
Yeah.
But I feel like with the world of like Stranger Things and Super 8 and things along those lines, this felt like a Goonies adventure.
Yeah, exactly.
With horror elements.
Exactly.
Which is cool, but like I feel like they could have like marketed it that way, and that's why not called it and called it something else based on characters from Stephen King's It.
I can understand what you're saying.
And then that would have been better, because then I would be like almost in that mindset, like oh, there's gonna be parts that scare me, because like I mean the psycho kid cutting him up,
that was
rough.
I was like
rough.
I thought he was crazy in the original. But this one, he was just like batshit crazy. Like
batshit crazy.
Cut him. And
like that was terrifying.
Exactly.
Him killing his father was scary, creepy. And like seeing Pennywise like control him now. Yeah. And that was the one time where you saw him get controlled.
Yeah.
So then it made you think like, oh, are the adults being controlled?
Yeah, they did.
But see. They are
to some extent.
To some extent, in the book, from what I understand, I never read the book, but like in the book, that's what happens to the people of that town.
I think that's why, like, as you get older, like
you're susceptible to
exactly. The characters.
But like, I feel like they could have done a little bit better with that because by the end of the movie too, there's a big problem I had. They all are leaving like one by one, like oh, I'm gonna go home, see ya, everything's good, like. You just went through a traumatic experience. Everything ain't good.
They're kids.
Everything is not good.
Blood pact.
Everything is not good. And also, and like, what's happening to all those bodies that are just falling down?
Didn't they call the police? I'm assuming.
No.
Because I assume that.
See, but now you're assuming.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Exactly. You shouldn't assume movies. Like, movies should just give it to you. That's bad writing.
Exactly.
Because like, if it had more of a Goonies ending to connect, like if there were police cars around them after their blood pact.
Exactly.
They're sitting there, they've got like blankets on.
Exactly.
They're like shaking, like, oh my God, he's holding his brother's coat, right? All this stuff has happened to you. They walk in, that bad line about like, why are the kids floating? You've just seen a clown try to terrorize you, broke your arm. I think the kids floating is pretty normal now. But like, if they were all wearing blankets at the end and then all of a sudden you saw cop cars showing up and then they're like taking statements, then you realize like the cops are controlled, or like the adults to a certain extent, because he's just going into hibernation, right?
Exactly.
So then you could realize like, oh, yeah, we're gonna take care of those bodies, and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they don't. Like they just maybe seal it off and say keep out for 27 years or
keep
something. Well, I'm just saying,
keep
like,
out for 27.
but like then you would realize like, oh, something's going on in this town. Like those adults are, you know. Also, like the humor's great. I had discussed with you that like I feel like the New Kids on the Block joke, fantastic as it was at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
She also, man, she like kissed. She kissed
You know,
the other boy.
I was waiting for.
Are you kidding me?
When we saw the original last week, your favorite thing to call her was "she's a whore."
Yeah, well, as an adult, she's a whore. The way that she's hanging. Just go watch the original and you'll know what I'm talking about. Read the book too. From what I understand, the book is way worse.
Exactly. They never.
I don't understand exactly. I'm not hating on Stephen King, but something ain't right there. I mean, he writes a lot of horror movies, so something ain't right there anyways. Like, his novels are terrifying. So he obviously is a master.
That's why
crap.
I really wanted to go to the movies with you, because I wanted to be like, he's gonna say she's so.
I'm not gonna call the girl.
Of course,
of
course.
Because she's not. Like, they established that she's not, which is great.
Exactly.
But why is she kissing him and not kissing that?
She kissed both of them, but she did. So
no, she like reciprocated with Bill.
With Bill, she liked Bill. Yeah, she liked.
She liked the stutter.
But there was still what she liked.
Like why are you liking the stutter and not like?
She like there was something there too with him, but in this one she definitely showed more.
I really need
with
to
Bill.
remember their names.
Because I thought Bill was more aggressive.
He was more aggressive.
He was like
he didn't write the poem, and she knew he didn't write the poem.
Yeah, and that's what like when.
That's why I'm like,
but
that ain't right. That ain't right, dude. Now you're a player.
You're a player.
You're an 11-year-old or 13-year-old player. Okay.
She's like, I think like 12 or maybe 13.
Well,
she's an early adolescent because she just started her. They're all starting puberty, so they're early in that age.
Not cool. I didn't appreciate that.
Yeah, I thought I would have liked it better if they would have cut that scene out. Like if she wouldn't have kissed him at the end because she found out that the other kid wrote the poem. That was a sweet moment, and she like smiled.
Yeah.
So I don't like at the end when she
of January or something.
I don't like at the end when she kissed Bill as she left, because I just felt like she chose him at that moment. When
not cool.
Not cool. So I didn't like. I thought they could.
I like the other kid more.
Yeah,
he likes the kids on the block. Exactly. He's like comfortable with himself.
It's like I would have liked her just to like hug both of them and then just leave. Yeah,
like that would have been better.
Yeah, like if she would have left both of them just sitting there, and then she walked off into the sunset. I would have liked that better than having her kiss Bill.
But I think like overall, like it was a good movie. I think people are freaking out and like thinking it's amazing because
I think it was amazing. I think so.
I think because of that nostalgia connection to like Stranger Things and stuff like that. Even using the kid from Stranger Things.
Exactly.
I feel like
he was awesome. He was very funny.
Of course.
Very comedic character.
But
actor.
I think like those elements, like the reason why it's such a success is because of that nostalgia.
Exactly.
Because I think in like 10, 15 years when horror movies start changing or things start changing and we're doing stuff about the 90s.
Yeah.
And like
the 90s,
like
early
2000s, and like there's going to be a change in the weather, and then like when that happens, people are going to look back on it and be like, it was okay.
I think it was.
I think like they're going to like come out of this cloud. It's
I definitely.
My brother and I have a it's the Phantom Menace disease, is what we like to call it. You're in a cloud. My brother and I. It's so true. You're in a cloud, you're thinking this is amazing, and then all of a sudden, like a week later, a month later, you start to realize, like, wait, no. Like, let me start thinking for myself a little bit. And it's okay. Like, if you love the movie, that's awesome. I think it's a good movie. I say go see it, enjoy. I think it's fun. I think you'll have a good time.